Good morning, guys. I'm going to talk about the recent sale of Air India to Tata conglomerate that was in the news for a long time because Air India has been trying, the government has been trying to bid it for the last I guess, 5 to 7 years now. And unfortunately, there was no buyer. And it seemed like this loss-making giant is going to be a dead ass. And it's going to be a dead elephant for coming more years, because the kind of losses that is incurring on a daily basis, it's insurmountable. And in its last ditch effort to do the bidding, no billionaires of India came forward except this gentleman, Tata. This is a business house which has been known for its philanthropic charity work, and it's trying to regain its lost prestige through its bidding with 16,000 crores of rupees to be spent. And not only that, its liability exceeds even more than that. And Air India says to Tata, it signals a big shift from 70 years of economic destructions and marks as master socialism, in fact. And if we think of the task ahead of Tata's, because we're going to get Air India soaring again in the air, with the promise that it's going to improve upon in-house experience, entertainment system, the quality of food, and it's welcoming back Air India because it seems to be attached to the kind of prestige or tag of a big business house, a successful conglomerate, and it's going to refurbish Air India's fleet and improve its passenger reservation system also. The first 3 tasks will be refinancing Air India's existing loans, upgrading its aircraft gradually. It's not going to happen overnight, and rewriting the various business contracts with suppliers and vendors. So if you go into the details of how immediate focus of Tata's will be on bringing about qualitative change in this. In fact, Tata will have to refinance the 15,300 crore rupees worth of India's debt, which they have taken over. So it has already taken over with its great debt crisis. And it's, where India has 141 aircraft, it will hand over only 118 in a fly-worthy condition to the group. So not all the flights are going to be handed down, from engines to the land gear, even the infra entertainment system. There are many fleet upgrades and maintenance costs ahead. While the government has set a reserve price of 12,906 crore for India, the Tata's winning bid was for around 18,000 crores. Now, the Tata is paying 2,700 crore for the acquisition itself, and takes over 15,300 crores of Air India's debt also separately. So Tata will have to pay around 9,185 crores on account of capitalized lease obligations of 42 lease aircrafts. So Tata's, they haven't decided whether it will go with the same name, and probably they will continue with Air India, the existing airlines, and they have their own airlines, Vistara and Air Asia India. So whether there will be a merger or is going to be run independently, that remains to be seen. And a decision in this regard about flying destinations, because it's a prerequisite of an Indian government for any airline operators to have connectivity to all the destinations, even far flying air, where it incurs a huge losses because of the high fuel prices in India. And uh, Vistara would have to, I mean, its merger with Vistara, integration with the Vistara would take time, as they would require permission from Singapore Airlines. So clearly, the Tata will have to put a lot of money and energy into ensuring that the flight ahead is not turbulent, because it's earned a nickname, a bad name, and it has been a loss making, and churning out issues after issues with lots of strikes, and its employees layover, and then even there have been lots of resentment among the. So whether it remains lucrative or whether it's continue to incur losses like in the olden times, that would be really interesting to see. So uh, although it's a good news that the national carrier, which is a prestigious carrier, and it used to enjoy a lot of good reputation in the earlier times. Probably it used to be one of the best airlines in the world when J.R.D. Tata was, behind the scene and was running this prestigious aviation name. So Tata Capital Indian Hotels will also have to cross-sell the products to airlines, customers, and crews. So the thing is, Air India has been, privatized finally. Thank God it has been sold back to the Tatas, whom it was not bought, but it was stolen or grabbed. In fact, I mean, they were stripped of. I mean, Tata was stripped of this prized possession in 1953. This is a widely popular decision. One way of looking at that popular, you see that the 4-word tweet of Ratan Tata, "Welcome home, Air India." And Tata says that Tata doesn't always mean goodbye. It also means welcoming. So what will be the task ahead of Tata's? That remains to be seen. Lots and lots of things to be, and a makeover. And this is really going to be a tough task going ahead with a kind of challenges that and it's the one-sided politics that they, I mean, it's obvious that, I mean, Modi government is all out for privatization of all the essential sectors and basic sectors, and probably it's professional in its approach towards easing the I mean, business, and now it will go back to become a private company run by an entrepreneurial group with a great reputation, and also by one of the entrepreneurs who have, they have the skin in the game, and they have to put the money, I mean, taxpayer. I mean, similar things I happened to in the acquisition with the Jaguar Land Rover. That, I mean, the Tatas, they acquired Jaguar Land Rover, and they left a fresh lease of life to this almost decadent company. When the Tatas, they went out for that acquisition to Jaguar, people told him that was stupid act on the part of them, because it was a loss-making, dead proposition. And Air India is no different regarding the kind of bad shape it's it has been brought into. So they have a brand name. Maybe it's a national carrier. It's a prestigious, with hundreds of fleets and with upgradations. But the thing is that the kind of bureaucratic red tapeism has left us in such a shambles that it would take a Herculean, I mean, it's a Herculean task, and this brand, opening and this has to be not only, I mean, Tatas will have to walk the tight rope of on the one hand dealing with the government, because government they have stipulated rules and regulations, and I think part of the bidding involves that you have to have some 51% stakes in with the government, apart from so this has been a long way because the 70 years of its history, and Indian entrepreneurship has been given a new color these days, because you can see that most of the private entrepreneurs and big business houses have been on acquisition spree, and Adani, Ambani, they have been going out for Reliance Industries and 3G, 4G, 5G, and all the ports being handled by Adani himself. So it's going to be another shot in the government's arm, but whether it's going to prove worthy for the Tatas to or it's just going to have sort of extravaganza. I mean, they're venturing into not an uncharted land, and they have had a big professional relationship with this aviation industry. And in fact, DRD Tata was the first licensed pilot, and every government has been trying to push forward this ailing aviation industry, because some sort of ailment or malaise has always afflicted this aviation industry in India, because every private industry and owner, they have tried, like whether it's Go Air, whether it's Jet, or whether it's they have been trying to fly in the air and keep flying. But the thing is, the experience of all of those private airlines and aviations, they have not been pleasant so far, because most of them have been 40% of the total expenses. It goes into the consumption of fuel itself. So obviously, what was not 6 decades ago has been has fallen into it, and so it has fallen into, because there was no bidder, and only Tatas could dare or muster the strength to go for this this kind of misadventure. I would call it misadventurism, because no one else could have dared to, although there have been so many big names, and they have been going for all sorts of acquisitions from defense, from the agriculture, this three farm laws, and that means Adani has been making silos, big silos, and privatization has always been the move for almost since Modi government has come into power. And there is 2020 big pipeline for most of the industrial sectors to be offered to the private bidders, and these bidders will be given full support for the easing of their business, and trying to give a fillip and a spur to the ailing economy, especially in the wake of the corona pandemic. And this latest dole out of this aviation national carrier, that could be the last nail in the coffin in India's economy. I mean, I wonder whether there would be anything left to be supervised or administered or to be, in the government sector, because insurance, health, agriculture, industries, energy sectors, all of these have been floated openly in the market, and virtually everything is sold. Every sector, whoever has the guts to come to invest or disinvest, or I mean, the government says like a disinvestment, and it's an investment for the future, and is going to reap the harvest in the coming years, and India's economy will bounce back to its 9.5% GDP, and its most robust economic stature that it has been enjoying for so many decades. And so, but it remains to be seen whether how far this move is going to pay the dividends to not only the bidder, the investors, and the government both, and whether it's a win-win situation for both ends, or whether it's one step forward towards the crisis that has been falling the recent years, and been all sorts of pitfalls and acute unemployment, acute shortage of and petrol prices are going rising, skyrocketing, and it's like uncontrollable sort of. So whether thousands and thousands of crores of rupees to be raised through these disinvestment plans that would give Indian government a new fresh lease of life to come back to the original economic shape. So it's no harm in letting out or offering the bids to those who are competent. And I'm sure that Tata's houses, they have a big reputations and credit worthiness, and they might have thought of and they must have a blueprint how to bring back this national carrier to the forefront, and not only the customers with the kind of desirable quality services, but also with the kind of competitive edge that the Air India has to keep with the other airlines all around. Because in the Gulf there have been Emirates and there's so many airlines vying for this coveted spot of, and Air India has to not only give the quality service of non-vegetarian foods and in-house entertainment, the world class at par with Emirates and Gulf and other airlines, Singapore Airlines, and but also it will have to look into the nitty-gritties of how to reach to the far-flung destinations. And raise the connectivity and apart from keeping the air ticket fare in control. So my best wishes and to the conglomerates, those who are private bidders, and those, especially to Tata's, because I'm a fan of the Ratan Tata, because he is a man at par with one of the biggest and the best philanthropists that the world has ever seen. So he's the only businessman with ethical moral standard of highest order, and he could be equated with any one of those like Bill Gates, Melinda Foundation, and those Jeff Bezos, or those I'm talking about all those philanthropists, those who have had 90% of the 90% of the revenue dedicated solely to the advancement, to the welfare, to the prosperity of the underprivileged people and masses all over the world. Thank you so much for listening to me.